Hello everybody. Last week I made a video about forgetting how to read, so I thought this week I'd follow it up with a video about forgetting how to write. Now if you watched that earlier video and this one here, I obviously don't mean becoming illiterate after having been educated, but forgetting how to do these things in a way that we used to do. Forgetting how to read a book, I meant, if you did not watch that video, I meant forgetting how to plunge into a lengthy novel by your favorite author and sort of just stay submerged in it for all day over a weekend and finish a 635-page book over 2 or 3 days. By forgetting how to write, I mean similarly forgetting how to write well with relative ease and above all to take pleasure in the writing process. I don't know how many people ever enjoy writing. I hope a lot. I certainly did. From the time I was very young, when I was a boy, in my adolescence in particular, I loved writing in every regard. I liked writing stories and scenarios. I liked writing letters to friends and family who were away. I even enjoyed writing essays in school. That was easy to enjoy. I know I was good at it because I got A's on things. I won prizes for my writing. I enjoyed the mechanics of writing. I always loved pens and papers and inks and just the physical sensation of drawing your hand down a page and filling it with lines was very pleasant. Writing with a manual typewriter is a very tactile experience too. Tack, 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 jing with the carriage return and putting the paper in and adjusting it. That was a very involved situation as well that had a sort of physical pleasure to it. And I happened to learn how to type very fast, very well. I was put in a typing course when I was, I think, 12 or 13 and just developed that. And so, writing into my early 20s was a pleasant experience in many regards that I enjoyed doing. And I think I did pretty well, pretty easily. It wasn't a hard chore, but yes, when you're writing a long essay or something by hand and you start to make mistakes, that's frustrating. When you're typing and you make a mistake, you have to retype the whole page. So when not computers, but pretty much word processing programs started to come out, or dedicated computers with word processing functions in the early 80s when I was in college, started to come out. I actually trained in that, and I had an internship at IBM in one of their early word processing computer type size dedicated word processing programs. And so I was sold on that. It was so much faster and so much easier to not have to worry about making big mistakes. It would make you retype a page or rewrite a page, and it just what your thought process is. You could never write as fast as you think, and so it just sped up your thought process. And in every way, it just seemed like a better way of writing, a faster way of writing, a more efficient way of writing. So although I'm kind of a Luddite or a technophobe by nature, I was an early convert to word processing. But this is how I can notice the change over the course of my life with that, because I think those of us born in 1964, we bear the sociological distinction of being the last of the baby boomers. I don't know what that does in other regards, but I think we stand a pretty good chance of being the last class to go through university on a typewriter. I didn't know anybody who had a computer in college, but I really wanted one when I started graduate school, so I got the dedicated word processor for that. And by the early 90s, everybody had sort of a laptop computer type thing to do your academic type work on. So writing on a computer, a laptop computer, something that has a word processing program in it, seemed like a great advance to me over the writing pen and paper or writing on a typewriter. And so it felt like I could be more productive. And I think I was at first. I think initially it did help me write better. It did help me write faster and more efficiently because I retained the habits or the training that I'd gotten from typing on a typewriter or writing by hand, which is that accuracy is important, and that you shouldn't make mistakes. You should try not to make mistakes. But writing on the computer, when you transfer to that, or when I transferred to that, I guess I kept that mentality. But over time, that just erodes because it seems like mistakes don't matter. You can correct them so easily. It seems like you can a mentality takes over that I've read and seen in many books about writing, advice about writing, getting started writing a novel, is that, well, first drafts are always bad anyway. So what matters is to just get all your ideas out onto, into the screen, into the computer, because you can move them around, you can change them, you can edit them. That sort of attitude, I guess that just sort of slipped into me, and again, the mistakes didn't seem to matter. Accuracy didn't seem to matter because you could fix it so easily. But think about that a bit philosophically. I mean, what is that a good attitude to have? Accuracy doesn't matter, mistakes don't matter, or it's better to have the attitude that says, well, yeah, accuracy is important, mistakes matter. That's just sort of slipped into the entire process. And so writing for me over the years has become typing as fast as I can, getting all my ideas out into the computer, and then trying to edit that into some sort of shape. And I have to say that, yes, it did seem the main sell initially to writing on a word processor, say, was the speed and the volume, the quantity that you could get out. But in terms of the quality, I think it's gone down. I really feel that it's gone down for myself, just speaking for myself. When I write in that fashion, the way that I've learned how to do on a word processing program, I don't really think it's even faster because I have to edit it so many more times. And I'm not really satisfied with the result in the end. Whereas, here's what I said at the beginning, not just what I recalled, but I got frustrated and fed up with this a while back, and I've never given up writing by hand. These are all journals in which I had done, if you're familiar with my language learning methodology, I have a procedure that I call scriptorium, which is transcribing works, let's say, particularly in foreign languages using foreign scripts. So I'd never given up writing by hand and paper, but I didn't write on it. I didn't compose. That's a word I liked. We called essays compositions. What I feel like I lost over the years was the ability to compose. Composing, in this sense, if you don't know what I mean, is sort of like, I've heard that good chess players can see several moves in advance. When you compose, you think ahead of what you're trying to say. You almost formulate several sentences ahead, and you see how they're linked, and you're writing one of them down, and you're still sort of got the thought process going. And it is slower going writing, but it's I don't just remember it being more fulfilling, like I said, because I have this habit of writing by journals. I've gone back to writing by pen and paper, and I've allowed myself finally to try to write more creatively, and I have, and dedicate the same sort of block of time that I have long dedicated, say, to language study, to sitting every day and writing in a notebook again. And I have to say, it was a little bit difficult. First, your hand loses the sensation of writing, and it's messy and all that. But as a project like that gets going, I have to say, the things that I write by hand again, when I edit them, I don't have to do that much editing in terms of what I'm changing on the page. And it's, I don't need to do that many edits. I'm satisfied. I feel like what I write by hand is much better than what I write by word processor, by computer. And I think it's, again, because of that sort of composition type experience. Most importantly, though, when I'm doing this again, once again, I've refound that sensation of pleasure. It's almost like stroking a cat when you have, a nice pen and a nice notebook and a piece of paper and you're writing it. It feels good. Writing was for me, like I said, a pleasurable, easy experience that I felt like, I can do this pretty well. Just writing something. When we wrote letters to friends or things like that, we didn't write multiple drafts. You thought of the person you were thinking of, and you were able to write a nice letter. So, I'd be curious to know if other people have experienced anything similar of going back to writing, or maybe never giving it up by hand. But if you have resonated at all with what I said about some of the feelings of what it means to write now, if the way that I describe my writing process on the computer is all similar to yours versus this older technology of pen and paper. Well, those are my thoughts on this subject. I thank you as always for listening, and I invite you, if you find what I have to say interesting, to have a look at my website or subscribe to my newsletter and consider taking some class or circle, as I call them, at my academy, which is all about reading books and literature in different languages. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again next week.